everybody, welcome to another video of Game of Thrones Academy. Hi Itamar.
Hi.
Hi. So this is another Q&A edition. We took your comments from the previous Q&As. Most of them are from the previous Q&As. And you haven't seen these comments, right? So we're unscripted.
I pick some time, I have to confess.
Itamar, you're breaking the rule of the game. Don't do it
Sorry.
anymore. Okay, so let's go right ahead to Christian Edwards. Okay, here is his comment. Basically, there are a lot of comments in the video, Robert Baratheon video. You can watch this video if you click here. And they say that while you thought that it was more inspired by Henry VIII, a lot of people see Edward IV.
Yeah, Edward IV, he was the leader of House York, one of the
Okay.
contenders in the War of the Roses. He was tall and handsome. He liked to drink. He liked the ladies. He didn't like to rule as well. He also married a girl he loved from a minor house, which aggravated his allies a little bit. So
Is that Robert?
no, it's Rob's. So with a mixture of both.
Oh, okay.
It could be Edward IV. It could be Henry
So
VIII.
why do you think it's Henry VIII more so than?
When
Edward
I
IV?
read it, when we meet Robert, it's after he made his conquests. It's in the time when he actually needs to rule.
Right.
And Henry VIII, he didn't like to rule as well. Yeah, and he was fat and happy. So that's what
Okay. Interesting.
came to my mind.
Okay. So let's go to Max Rav, and he's talking about a different character and the inspirations behind it. He's talking about Stannis. What historical character do you think Stannis is based on? And he has in mind Macbeth.
It could be inspired from by Macbeth, yeah, like
Okay.
this tragic figure that no one wants him there, and everyone conspire him against him, and he's like paranoid and stuff.
Okay. And there's a witch or something.
A couple of witches, three witches, I think.
Okay.
Uh,
But who
but
do you think is Stannis?
I think he with a capital H said that he based Stannis, or at least part of Stannis' character, on Tiberius, second emperor after Augustus. He ruled, not like Stannis, but he
Okay.
ruled, and he was very unpopular with the nobility and
They had the same character, hard character.
very hard liner, hard character.
Okay, so let's go on to Elias Rex, and he wrote that comment in our religions video, which you can watch if you click here. And he asked, you said in that video that the Romans didn't take the religion very seriously, and he asked, why do you think that is the case? And he's talking about the Vestal virgins as being important.
They didn't take it seriously in a sense that we know today about the behavior of monotheistic religions, like monotheistic religions. Like they are proselytizing religions. Like they say there is only one God and it's our God. So if you are don't believe in our God, you're wrong and you threaten us. You
Right.
threaten our truth. And not only the Romans, like a few empires in that sense had what it said like a celestial insurance plan. Like we take our religion seriously because this is the way we brought up to, but there is a possibility that the Persians are right, and the Greeks are right, and the Jews maybe are right. The only thing they wanted from the other people they conquered in terms of religion, that they will make their God bless their emperor. And
Okay.
by that, basically will accept themselves as vassals of
Okay.
the Romans. This is was the
You know, it's
process.
interesting, very interesting. Actually, maybe I was wrong, and that comment was posted in our Valyria versus Rome video. So if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
I
wrong,
think I
if
said
you
it
want
in
to watch
Valyria,
this
yeah.
one, so just click here. Okay. So let's go to Sise Golpau from Greece. Greetings from Greece. Greetings. And
Yes.
he says, I think I have figured out the history of Westeros. So basically, Westeros is the replica of England, first men being the Celts, the Andals the Anglo-Saxons, Targaryens the Normans, and the north is Scotland, and then there are the Vikings in Ireland. So is he right?
Yes, I think he's right. We had in planning, if I'm not mistaken, we at least talked about it. Like
Okay.
make a episode, a video about timelines, and
Right.
comparing the timelines
Yeah, we could
of
still do it.
Britain to the timelines of Westeros,
Right.
and say, it's on point, exactly on point.
Okay, so if
I would say the Ironborn are inspired, at least culturally, by the Vikings.
right.
But
And if-
on point.
If you would like to see a video of the timeline thing, just comment below. Let's go to Casey Stewart. She says she loves the inclusion of fun questions. With that in mind, tell us about your cat. Who does it belong to and what it is called? Thanks. Bring the cat. Okay, so this is the cat. Her name is Sophie. She belongs to our director and editor and his loving and doting wife. And they both live here, and this is their living room. Bye bye, Sophie.
Bye, Sophie.
Okay, so I hope you're happy with that. And there's another fun question from It's Not at Uber, and he says it's kind of like a mean tweet. I guess I would read it. Gil needs to shut up and stop cutting Itamar off all the time. Itamar is the expert, Gil the helper. Just a few questions or sentences every few minutes is all you should be saying. Stop laughing and commenting and jumping on him. Come on, man.
He's right. Gil, you need to shut up. Let me do the talking.
No, I think he's being too harsh. I know, like my job here is to be like the idiot who knows nothing about nothing. I say, what is history, Itamar? Tell us, please. You think this is my proper job?
It's like a difference of culture, maybe. You know,
Right.
We Israelis, we tell it as it is, basically.
Yeah, we cut each other off.
We cut each other. Every
the
time we
other
talk,
time.
we talk cut all the time.
No, because that
it's part of our culture.
No,
yeah. Part of our culture.
So don't be
We
racist.
Hebrew is like a thin language. We don't have courtesy words. We almost
Right.
don't have any courtesy words.
Right. There's no like how do you call it? כאילו, אין איזה עטיפה.
Yeah.
לא,
לא,
היותי,
יש
כאילו זה
מילת
פשוט,
נימוס, איך הם קוראים לזה?
כאילו טקסיות. Right. Like there's no etiquette.
No, there's no etiquette. Yeah, we are barbarians. Total barbarians.
Shabbat shalom, bitch.
Okay. So with that in mind, with me being useless here, let's go to swag on swag. And he or she, they want to know, will you please share your educational backgrounds? So Itamar, you go first.
Okay, so I have a bachelor degree in
In?
history and philosophy from the Tel Aviv University.
Okay.
And
Was that good? Did you like your studies?
Yeah, very much. And I have also a diploma I have a teaching diploma in specializing in special education.
Okay. And you're a high school teacher.
But you know that.
But I have to act
Yeah,
surprised.
in I'm a high school teacher.
So a teacher of history and biblical studies.
Yeah.
Basically the Bible, right?
Yeah, Bible,
Okay.
but the Bible, but in a like a historical, secular context.
Right,
Yeah,
of course,
not
of course.
like teaching it as the word of God. No.
Right. Okay. And I have nothing.
No.
I know nothing. No, I have a BA in history and in the East Asia studies.
And
It's
you
about
also,
China and Japan and India.
And you also wrote a book.
And I also wrote a book.
Yeah.
Is the
that
book
was-
here?
That was published. You know.
And I know that you love the book.
Yeah,
Right?
I loved it.
You love the book. Like you love the part about the aliens.
There were not aliens.
I know you didn't read the book.
I haven't read it, but I'm sure I will love it. Yeah.
It was well received. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's go to another question for Itamar from 888 Lila Loa. What are your favorite history books? Or what were the best books on history that you have read up?
The best history book I ever read is the two-part biography about
Mhm.
Hitler.
Which one?
Adolf Hitler, not the other Hitler.
Not the stinger.
by Ian Kershaw. Amazing storytelling. This Hitler was,
Wasn't a nice guy.
no, he was.
That surprised you when you read the biography?
No. Well, he was an asshole,
Okay.
But
I don't know. He's misunderstood.
No, he's evil. Hitler was only part of the story.
Okay.
And some of his earlier works of this historian Ian Kershaw was trying to break the myth of Hitler, which is some kind of a genius. Like,
so was he a genius?
he was a gambler, basically.
Mm.
He had this perception of himself as this anointed one, like this Führer, like Barbossa, risen from the grave, to unite the German people and save them. And he was a gambler and like gambled on the whole, you know,
And
all in.
And he won for a long time.
Up until his last gamble, which is invading Soviet Union and start of his decline.
It sounds very interesting. And do you have in mind a historical novel?
Shogun, which
Right.
is not exactly a historical novel.
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah.
I even tweeted
He
the
changed.
picture.
He based it on like real history, but he changed the
Don't
name.
spoil the ending. Not there
They
yet.
all die in the end.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah,
It's
it's
incredible.
really good. And In the Name of the Rose,
Okay.
a historical novel about two investigators in the Middle Ages, in the 13th, 14th century
Do
in
you
Italy.
have that in your library?
Yes.
So when I finish the Shogun, would you give it to me to read?
Yeah, you have it here also.
Okay, let's move on. That's a very interesting comment. He says that Itamar, you discussed Constantinople's similarities to Karth and Volantis. That's in our first video that you can watch if you click here. And he thinks that the Battle of Blackwater in Book 2 is a little bit similar to the Second Arab Siege of Constantinople, with wildfire being similar to the Greek fire and Tyrion's chain being similar to the Great Chain of Constantinople. Actually, I know nothing of Constantinople's history, so...
It came to my mind when I read the Blackwater part.
Okay.
But I heard this reference before, and yes, it could be true. I'm not an expert on
Okay.
particular this period and the Arab conquests.
I'm very disappointed.
Trying
Itamar.
to conquer, but yeah.
Very disappointed.
Shout out.
Okay, so let's go to Einbaum, friend of the show. In the real world, the Renaissance started after the Ottomans conquered the Greek cities, which led to many Greeks fleeing to Europe, Western Europe. And then he says he predicts that the Dothraki, which we all predict will sweep through Essos, will cause the same thing to happen when the elite of Pentos and the free cities will flee to Westeros, and that will be part of Westeros' rise.
That's his
and
prediction.
Essos. Yeah.
Great one.
That's a great prediction.
One. Renaissance is a concept made up by historians. Some historians start the Renaissance with the first work of Dante and Boccaccio early
Right.
in the first third of the 14th century. And some historians start the Renaissance with the discovery of the New World, and the unification of Spain. So it's a historian arbitrary concept.
But in Westeros, you could have, I don't know if a Renaissance, whatever, but the early modern period could be boosted by all these elite, rich people, educated people. So Einbaum, we are definitely going to reappropriate this prediction because it fits great, amazingly with how we think it will end. So now this is our prediction. We'll send you the legal papers. They're waiting in the mail. Okay, last question. Nur Azhari. Hello guys, my question is, do you think Azor Ahai, he's called Nur Azhari, Azor Ahai, or the prince who is promised is historically based on Jesus? He's from Jewish royal blood, a prince. And the idea of Azor Ahai, reborn as well, who comes to rescue the world and defeat the darkness. He says he is a Muslim, but could not help notice the similarities. So Ramadan Karim, Nur Azhari, thanks for the comment. So do you see any Jesus here?
We gave a different interpretation to Azor Ahai, more like Ura Mazda from the Zoroastrian religion, as this harbinger of light. But it could be Jesus inspired as well.
And you can, so this is in the religion video. Okay, so that's it. Let's wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, click like. And if you want us to answer and pick your questions for the next Q&A, be sure to comment. We can't get to all of them, we try. And of course, you have to subscribe if you want to get our next videos. And we will see you next time, I guess. We hope. Bye.
Bye.
Mit Konis Hupen ist Stimmung garantiert, weil bei uns Show und Spaß ganz groß geschrieben.